My name is Imani J, and all I do is sew and travel. I've got my BA in fashion design and have been to the four major fashion capitals of the world, skipping class and sneaking into a fashion show in Milan, attending trade shows in Paris and London, and entering at a popular fashion brand in New York City.
I was part of a military family where traveling was second nature. Before I was even 2 months old, I was flying on a plane to Japan from San Antonio, Texas. That's a long haul flight. Because of my family's federal ties, I got to see and experience new things and places around the world. Like, I have vague memories of passing fields of cows on a bus to my school in England. I was running around and getting covered in the red dirt of Hawaii during recess. I was riding the train to South Korea with just my high school friends. It made me curious about what the world had to offer. Fashion came at a later time in my life where I was obsessed with magazines like Teen Vogue and 17, and I would occasionally get into my mom's magazines like Regular Vogue or Harper's Bazaar. And like as a family, we would all be so invested in watching Project Runway. We would guess who would win the challenges, see what we would do if we were in those challenges. In the fifth grade, I have a diary I have to show you guys one day where I literally wrote that I wanted to be a fashion designer. And I got my first sewing machine when I was in middle school. And then I taught myself how to sew on YouTube. So I was on my way. When I was young, I read a book about climate change where it was authors giving little tips on things that you can do to help the environment. I took it straight to heart and tried my best to limit my environmental waste. So I would take 5-minute showers, maximum. As my grandparents were walking the dog, I would carry a plastic bag and pick up trash around the neighborhood. All of this young environmental consciousness led me to upcycling, where I would take sheets, pillowcases, curtains, anything I could find around the house, old clothes, and create something new out of them. So I was limiting my waste and I was saving money on not purchasing fabric. So it was a win-win. Also, I think I'm gonna choose this one. Fashion was coursing through my veins when I was younger. I had a fashion blog where I would talk about fashion, what I was wearing. I had tried to start a fashion club in high school. I did an upcycle runway show where I made a dress out of plastic bags. Like, I attended a pre-college summer program where it was the first time I met my peers, people who were my age interested in fashion design as well. But then I actually started college where I started taking real fashion courses, majoring in fashion design. And the excitement and passion went away. I was feeling demotivated by teachers. I was getting D's and F's on projects that I worked really, really hard on. I felt like I wasn't as talented as I thought as I was comparing myself to my peers and saw what they were doing and was like, these people are legitimately amazing. I can't compare. And then I was also in Ohio. I had no friends or family in Ohio. And I'm from South Carolina. Being from the South, if the wind blows just a little bit too cold, they're canceling school. But in Ohio, it was a full-blown blizzard-like conditions outside, and I still had to go to classes. I wasn't enjoying my time. So, my plan was simple. My plan was to study abroad as much as possible. If fashion school was overwhelming, at least I didn't have to be in Ohio, right? So, my first study abroad was in Florence, Italy. I enjoyed it so much. I had passionate teachers. I traveled to 4 other countries outside of Italy. I even interned at a little Italian boutique that I really loved. So I had a great time. Then there was that semester in New York City where I thought I would love it, but ended up actually hating it due to, the price, the weather, the mice. But I did end up doing an internship while I was there for a brand that made these beautiful dresses. And I was just so focused on the hustle and bustle of New York City than I was at my actual classwork. I was like, I want to get real world fashion experience. So that's what I did. Lastly, I did a summer in South Korea where I did an internship with a humongous manufacturer, works with people like Target and Walmart. And then I went to a Korean university and took a class there. I enjoyed studying fashion while traveling around. It stoked my fire, my passion for fashion. I thought maybe once I got out into the fashion industry fully, saw what the real world had to offer, and left college, that maybe fashion would grow in my heart more. But unfortunately, I graduated in the middle of the pandemic, the year 2020. Despite having applied to jobs since December of 2019 and having continued to apply to jobs throughout that entire time, I wasn't able to find a job until an entire calendar year after I graduated, even though I had experience. I had internships in 3 different countries. I had an internship working at a boutique. I had an internship working at a designer brand. I had an internship working for a big corporation. But I still wasn't able to find a job until I found one, and it happened to be a remote job. But that job also wasn't what I was expecting. See, I had applied for or thought the job was a sustainable brand that was marching towards sustainable values, but like most things in fashion, it actually ended up to be greenwashing. So I ended up finding another remote job. But this one wasn't it wasn't inspiring. It wasn't challenging enough for me. The shining factor of my remote jobs was that I could work anywhere as long as there was a Wi-Fi signal, and work anywhere I did. I traveled to 3 countries while I was in my digital nomad era. And so, since I wasn't getting my fashion fix from the places I was working at, I became more interested in local fashion. I talked to local fashion designers. I talked to the craftsmen. I asked them what the fashion industry was like in their countries. And I also shopped local. I bought their unique shoes, jewelry, clothing, knickknacks. And so I asked myself this question. I wonder what fashion is like in these places where you wouldn't normally associate with being a fashion capital. What are fashion industries like everywhere?
That question permeated my mind, but most importantly, the thing that I've been wanting this entire time finally came to me. I have been wanting my career to combine my love for fashion and travel, no longer trying to separate the two. And this is where it starts. So, hello, my name is Imani J, and all I do is sew and travel.